YouTube family. Today we're going to be telling you an extremely spooky, scary trip report. I think. I've never read it before, but I mean the title is Nightmares in Flux, and it's a compound that we haven't really Let's call it the actual thing. It's a plant. It's Datura. It has in it psychoactive compounds. One of them being scopolamine, which is a whole Vice documentary, and I've mentioned this before. They call it like the brainwashing drug. They blow it in people's faces and they command them to do whatever they want, like they're zombies and they have no choice. But the main plant it comes out of is Datura. It's something that I don't suggest anybody touches. It's even used in some very sinister ayahuasca brews, which is why you have to be very careful which ayahuasqueros you choose as your guide and shaman. Anyway, what we're going to be doing today is reading a trip report online, commenting on what they did right, what they did wrong. This is all being done for safety and harm reduction. Of course, we don't suggest anyone does this, but if you are, we want to teach you how to do things safely. And if you ask me how to do things safely, is there's some compounds, plants that you should just not touch. One of them being Datura, Jimson weed, the devil's lettuce. So anyway, let's get into reading this story. All right, dose, 70 seeds. That already sounds like a little too much. First of all, I would like to let you all know that this is not a party drug. This is a very powerful, very poisonous plant. It is nothing at all like acid, and yes, it can kill you in a variety of ways. I had almost total amnesia after this experience, kind of like the Vice documentary. This report is compiled of things I've remembered over the past 3 years. Kaiser and I have both been diagnosed as schizophrenic in the past year. Is it a coincidence, or did the Datura have something to do with it? I don't know. One night in early October 2001, I was house sitting at my friend Cassie's house in downtown Savannah. My friend Kessler was there house sitting too. We were just sitting around smoking and drinking a little bit. Cassie and her roommates were at a rave in Southern Carolina. We were sitting around passing the bong around, talking and stuff. Cassie gave Kessler and I a small bag of black seeds in a crimson liquid. I had no idea what they were, neither did Kessler. Casey explained to us that it was Jimson weed. I still had no idea. Neither of us had ever heard of it. And I guess in 2001, Google wasn't as prevalent. So yeah, I guess they'd be doing Yahoo searches or Ask Jeeves back then. I was a stupid kid, so I didn't even research it. Cassie, I guess her name's Casey, I can't read. Casey told me that it was enough to make about 5 people trip nuts. Now, Kessler and I were psychonauts, so we thought her definition of tripping nuts was probably a bit different than ours, and it is if you're talking about Jimson weed versus psychedelics. Jimson weed is a deliriant substance, which actually causes full-blown hallucinatory states where you think you are talking to a mouse that doesn't exist. You think you're in the rainforest when you're actually sitting in your garage. It's like being in a waking dream. Versus psychedelics, they simply distort reality a little bit. Sometimes there's patterns, it depends how deep you go, but you're generally not going to hallucinate people that aren't there. Biggest difference here. So we just divided the seeds in half and ate them. I'd say we ate about 70 fat, juicy seeds, and we each drank the liquid, whatever that was. I had done acid, ecstasy, AMT, a lot of other stuff before this point, but nothing could prepare me for the world that I was about to enter. I guess this would be a good place to explain something. Your internet provider is watching everything you do. That's right, all of your activity online is being tracked. Monitor your privacy is not in your own hands, so to take your privacy back into the firm grip of yourself, you must sign up for a VPN. This video's sponsor, Surfshark. They have graciously sponsored so many of my videos, and if you sign up today with the code PSYCHED, right here, you're going to get a whopping 83% off and a free 3 months of extra use, which I believe unlocks the best price for VPN on the market. It also helps my channel because the more of you who sign up, the more likely they are to sponsor future videos. Another huge benefit of using a VPN is you can change your country code when using a video streaming service, which gives you a whole slew of new videos to watch, which of course is awesome. So again, use the code PSYCHED, save 83% off, get 3 extra months free, help the channel, and let's get back to this frightening tale of Datura. Enjoy. I guess this would be a good place to explain something. The hallucinations from Datura stramonium are very strong. They are very bizarre, but seem natural. What I mean is everything is very, very odd, but seems real. More real than reality, if that makes any sense to you. Kind of reminds me of a DMT trip. Kessler and I waited for about an hour or two and still weren't feeling it. We went to my house and chilled out there for a while. We were starting to get very tired. We decided to go back to Casey's house so we could stay up. We got there and we were feeling very drunk by this time. Ultra sloshed, drunker than I have ever been, and I've been pretty drunk. I fell asleep on Cassie's couch. When I awoke, I was feeling even more drunk. I couldn't even stand up. My girlfriend at the time, Beth, drove me home. I don't remember, but she said that on the way home, I kept taking my lighter out of the dash and trying to hit it like it was a pipe. When I arrived home, that's when it hit me really hard, as if using your lighter as your pipe isn't gonna, what are you gonna light your lighter with? Another lighter? I went into my bedroom and got online to check my email. Suddenly, I saw a miniature version of myself walk out of my monitor. He sat down on my computer desk and started talking to me. We had a very deep conversation about life, love, and many other things. Then he told me that I needed to get some water. I went to the bathroom and filled a cup with water and a bottle cap for my little friend. When I looked in the mirror, it wasn't me that I saw, it was a bloody mess. My face was mutilated beyond recognition. I started washing my face, but then the more I washed, the bloodier it seemed to get. After about an hour, the blood just disappeared and I was able to recognize myself again. I went back to my room and my little friend was gone. Damn. I wonder if it'd be cool to have like a little miniature version of yourself. I heard a knock at the door. As soon as I got back to my room, I went to see who it was, and when I opened the door, I was in for a surprise. I think that everyone I had ever known was there, even people I'd forgotten all about. This kind of sounds like a near-death experience, like your whole life flashed before your eyes. I got to see everybody I'd ever known, or like you go to heaven and there's everybody I've ever known just waiting for me. Guess they all died too. This makes me think Datura has the power to unlock forgotten memories. Just like hypnotist, hypnotherapists can get you to remember what you ate for dinner like 8 years ago. So they're all up there somewhere, we just can't access them. I let the hundreds of people in and we all went to my room, which is strange because I had a very small room, but everyone was there. I was talking to and catching up with everybody. People kept on disappearing and reappearing in random places in my room. People also kept dying, decaying, and eventually disappearing. Reminds you of like when someone dies in like a video game, the final blow, and then they just go and they fade out. I was worried, but soon I forgot all about it. There was also this guy with a Chick-fil-A cup as his head. What's a Chick-fil-A cup? He would keep dying, decaying, and coming back to life. I tried to kick everyone out, but I couldn't seem to get the Chick-fil-A guy to leave. Damn. Maybe he wanted you to fill something up in his head. Every time I tried to pick up the bones, they turned into bones. They would turn to sand. He would then be reborn from the sand. This sounds amazingly cool. I was getting really pissed off and quite freaked out. As if, seeing the little him, a little version of himself wasn't freaking him out enough. Now he's got to see someone die and decay. Didn't freak him out, but now that he goes to pick up the bones, now he's freaked out. Okay. My friend Superman appeared from somewhere and helped me out. He tried to pick up the bones and they turned to sand. So he pulled a broom out from somewhere and swept the guy out the front door. Oh, that's amazing. Great problem solving there. Well, if you can't pick him up, let's sweep him out. Superman came back to my room dragging a large cross. He talked to me as he proceeded to crucify himself. Fuck. What the hell? So Jesus was Superman? Is that the analogy we're seeing here? When he was completely hung on the cross, he started to become very disfigured. He then exploded into ashes. Amazing. I was horrified. What had happened to my friend? I gathered the ashes up in a dustpan and took them to the kitchen sink. I dumped the ashes into the sink and ran water on them. Well, he really wanted to make sure that he was not fucking coming back. Fuck you, Superman. I'm dumping you down the drain. Don't be reborn. A new Superman grew right out of my sink. He thanked me for bringing him to life and hastily left. How did he squeeze out of the sink? I decided to go for a walk. Brilliant idea. No, if you're sweeping Superman up and dumping him down your sink, it's probably not the best idea to go out into public. You should just fucking lock yourself in a room, close your eyes, and pray to God that it ends soon. I saw my car in the parking lot and it was wrecked very badly. Everything's wrecked. His face is wrecked. His car is wrecked. The humans are wrecked. Everybody's fucking wrecked. I was upset. I went over and tried to open the door, but the whole car melted at my touch. Wow, he should just not touch anything or look at anything because he's clearly killing everything in sight with his eyes. Then I leaned up against the tree. Let me guess, the tree. Yep, the tree melted. Who would have thought? I figured out that I had the power to melt things just by touching them. Then I had the idea to touch myself. Oh God. So he touched his dick and he melted his dick off? I did and nothing happened. Well, I guess he got to keep his penis. I got very lost and it took me hours to realize that I was just in the parking lot in front of my apartment. Okay, this happens on psychedelics too. You're like literally a house away from yours and you're like, I've never been here before. Where the fuck am I? I wanted to go back inside, but I couldn't. I had locked the door. Shit. So I used my ID to try to break into my house. Oh, like when you take your ID and you slide it. That ruins your idea. Don't do this. I couldn't do it. I walked away and found my keys back in their solid state. I used my keys and let myself in. I soon noticed that my ID was missing. Shit. I'll explain close to the end. I went to take a shower. Oh no. What's the water gonna be made of? And when I got my clothes off, I noticed I had no sexual organs at all. So he did melt his dick off. How did I know? I was freaked out, but I figured there was nothing I could do about this. It just reminds me of that episode of Black Mirror, USS Callister.
Oh my God. Oh,
Yes.
oh.
There's no genitals in Space Fleet.
I got in the shower and started to wash. When I got out of the shower and went back to my room, there was a 7-foot tall totem pole staring at me. The totem pole was my CD tower. We had a conversation, then the strangest thing happened, as if strange things haven't already been happening. Time started to slow down, slower.
And slower. Until it eventually stopped.
Everything around me was suspended in time. My cat was frozen. My totem pole was talking to me just a minute ago, was now frozen in time with his mouth open in mid-sentence. This was very strange. Eventually time came back. Remember, it all seemed very natural at the time. Beth had come over to check on me. We were sitting there talking for hours. And as we talked, I slowly began to come down. Telephone rang and I went to pick it up. It was Beth. Shit, what is he in, Smile? How is this possible? I looked over at Beth on my bed and she began to fade into nothing. Oh my God. Waving at me as she went, goodbye, goodbye, man, goodbye. This was the last major hallucination that I had on Datura about my ID that had been missing. I was so messed up on the Datura that I was trying to break into the wrong house. Oh God. The next day, I got a knock at the door. It was the lady who lived in apartment 703. She told me that she had found my ID in her door. I wasn't even going to try to explain. The after effects of this stuff are wicked. I couldn't see anything clearly for about a week. Jesus. I also felt strange for almost a month. Shit. It was like a month-long acid trip. I was having minor hallucinations for weeks. And apparently he also caught schizophrenia from it. Moral of the story. Don't do Datura, folks. Just leave that shit alone. There are some things that should not be touched by humans, or probably anything. That's one of them. But if you're gonna do something absolutely bonkers and crazy, have like 5 trip sitters present that can hold you down in case you get violent, okay? Do not do that alone. Make sure there's people present that can help you. Make sure you take a safe amount. Google what a safe amount is. It varies depending on if you're taking seeds or pods. Be super cautious. And I don't know if trip killers even work with this one. I don't know. You have to research it because I haven't looked that up. But ultimately, what did he do right? Nothing. He took the wrong drug. What did he do wrong? Everything. He took the wrong drug. What could he have done better? Everything. Don't take the drug. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you leave it with a big thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Head on over to psychsubstance.shop to pick up your very own trip blanket. Everything's out of stock right now except for the mushroom blankets without words, and some of the onesies are still there. But all the other blanket styles, we gotta order some more. I gotta actually do that soon. And yeah, if you want to check out the clothes I'm wearing, go to youngla.com, save 15% by using code PSYCHED. I love their shit. And this is my son's necklace. I don't think you can get that anywhere. Anyway, subscribe for more, like the video, and I'll see you all later. Cheers.